Hello and welcome back to Waverly Zoo, episode 7, is it? I think now? I can't count, I'm not sure. Anyway, the next episode. And this is going to be interesting. It might turn into a disaster, or it might turn into my best creation yet, I'm not sure. You can probably see in the distance here something that I'm working on. So this is what's going to be built in this episode. And you can see the idea is it's going to be a treetop walk with a chimpanzee enclosure all in here. So I've used this this technique of getting a smoother, sort of flatter pathway in here, where you build you build a piece raised up, and then you raise it a bit more, move it over here, and then when you connect them, it creates this gentle slope. So I've done that all around here. Obviously, I put these circle areas in first, and then I connected them with this technique, and you can see it's a nice gradual slope all the way up here until eventually you get up to here. So the idea is that these trees have got the path sort of attached to them. However, I'm not happy with the trees, so these are going to go, I've decided, and I'll probably create some sort of artificial support for these platforms, mainly because these are real trees and this is England. The zoo is meant to be in England, and these trees simply don't exist in England. So it's even though they work for this setting, and they are the best tree in the game to look like a treetop walk, because they're nice and round and sturdy, really thick, so you would be able to use them as a support. They wouldn't grow in this country, so I'm not going to keep them. But you can see the idea of what I'm attempting to do. And then the idea is the enclosure will encompass all of this, maybe not this very entrance bit here. I'm not too sure where it's going to come over here yet. But the chimps themselves won't be climbing on this walkway. I'll make sure that whatever I use isn't climbable, and so the only climbing areas will be around here, probably obviously in this central area here, and probably just in this area just here as well. So I will build frameworks, sort of climbing frames and things for them to climb on. So the idea is you're walking up here and you're watching the monkeys, the chimps, sorry, climb on other things and not interacting with you actually on these pathways. So that's my theory. You can see it's gonna be interesting as to whether it looks good and whether it works. But I'm making decent progress so far. So let me go away and do a bit more work, and come right back in just a minute. Right, so just a small update. I haven't changed the trees yet. I know I'm going to, but I haven't decided exactly how yet. But I have made these shelters. So I wanted each of these round platforms to have a shelter on. So I created that as an individual thing and then just copied it around all of them. It's pretty simple. It's just made with some beams and some planks of wood. So really straightforward, but it's sticking with the theme of obviously the wood look around here. And then I've just put these support beams again. That's just basically I took the support beams from up here, just changed the angle of them, turned them upside down, and used them underneath. But I think they look pretty sturdy things to hold this up. I think I've added, as you can see, I put the path supports back on at the start here. I think I am going to put them on the rest as well. These spans of pathway are just too long without any support in the middle. And as much as I do like the look of these supports, even though they're actually not particularly strong because they're wood, and they wouldn't, realistically, you wouldn't use wooden supports on a nice big concrete pathway like this. I really wish you could change the look of this underside of the pathway, because it's concrete and it wouldn't be, or at least the concrete wouldn't show. I'd like to be able to make this look wooden, just to make it look a bit more suitable for being up in the air, because concrete is a very heavy material, and obviously this is what the game designers have made aerial pathways look like, and it's just a little bit unrealistic. They wouldn't really be made of concrete like that. So it's a shame that you can't do that. Obviously I could go along and cover it up in some way, but that's just ridiculous. That would take me forever and it would probably end up looking terrible. So I'm going to keep it like it is. But yeah, so just a quick update there. Obviously I've also just added on the barriers along here, although unfortunately they're not as substantial as I'd like, so I may look through the other pathways and change that to get a better fence. Again, I wish you could have the wooden platform here and then change what the fence looks like depending on the situation that it's in, because obviously this is a raised platform. You wouldn't want this to be so open on the sides, because kids could just walk straight through, which you wouldn't want. You would want that to be nice and enclosed, but it's, as far as I know, it's not. There's no option of changing that. This fencing is dictated by what the floor looks like. So I wish you could have a selection of fencing. Would be really nice. So I may have to change the floor to make the fencing more appropriate. But yeah, just a short update there. I think that's looking okay so far. It'd be interesting to see what it looks like once these trees have changed. I may do that next. I'm not sure. Anyway, I will go away now and do a bit more. Okay, I made a few major changes here. As you can see, I've put the actual habitat barriers in now. So let me go up a bit so you can see the basic shape. I decided to keep this bit of the walkway outside of the barrier and start it where you get to the first viewing platform. I have put some chimps in. Obviously I've put some done a bit of landscaping, so you've got some natural water there and over there, and just a few hills here and there, just to give it a bit of variety. Get some mud in there. The chimps are running around, and I have changed the trees. As you can see, the trees are now gone, and I've used logs to make these artificial supports, and I think they look good because they're obviously a shell for what would be like a large concrete or metal support in the middle. So they're quite obviously not real logs. They're going to be big sort of fake covers to cover up the real support on the inside. And I think they look much better now. It's a lot more open. Obviously there will be trees in here, but they will be ones that the chimpanzees, sorry, can climb, whereas they actually, I believe they can climb these logs, but they can't then go anywhere if they get up here. It's not like they can jump up here onto the pathway, so I don't mind that. I've also just started a small backstage area here, so I've continued this path here. Obviously I just need to move the trees a bit. So this was the restaurant backstage area, and I've continued the roadway along here, kept it wide because you'd need a lot of access here to bring the chimpanzees into the enclosure here. So what I'm going to try and do here, obviously there'll be some kind of building here, I think, and I think I need some sort of extra door as an access. So what I think I'm going to try and do is use the other barrier doors, the ones that are meant for the car, what is it, like the travelling ride thing to go in and out. So I'm going to try and manipulate it so I can get two of them in here as a sort of what's the word I'm looking for? No, the word has escaped me, but you know what I mean, where you have like an airlock type thing. It's not an airlock, there's another word for it, and my mind has just gone completely blank. But essentially an airlock, so you'll have a big double door there, and then a fenced in area, and then another double door here is the plan. And then I'll have the building here, and what I might do is like an extra small habitat here connected to the building and to this as a sort of like a quarantine area. So if one of the chimps was in need of being separated from the main enclosure, you could bring it out here and just have it living in a separate area out here. You do see that in a lot of zoos. They have these sort of separate enclosures that are all attached, so they can separate animals if they're fighting or if they're injured, that sort of thing, or sometimes if they just need to be inspected, for health reasons. So I'll probably try and do that as well. I haven't tried changing the pathway yet, but I probably will do that next. But yeah, that's it's coming along nicely, and I think it's going to work. I think the plan, I wasn't too sure if my overall plan would work or not, but actually I think it's coming together quite nicely. So let me go away and do a bit more, and we'll see how much I get done. Right then, quite a large update here. I apologise, I got a bit carried away and forgot to stop, quite frankly, because it was going really well. So I just wanted to keep going and not stop. And I suddenly realised that I've almost finished the enclosure. So let me talk you through it. As you can see, I've obviously put a load of trees in. As decoration. I've changed the path, so I've still got a nice wooden path, but this one has got a much better fence. So it's an enclosed fence, so the whole pathway is now that, which is much nicer. I have obviously decorated inside, so there are trees, there are some bushes here and there, so also enrichment items all over the place, and I think it looks nice. You know, there's lots of interest for the chimps, and this is my big addition, obviously. Oh, look at that! Right on cue, they're all sitting up here having fun in their treehouse. So I created this as a single building here. Just a nice network of all the climbable logs, and obviously a platform with some bedding. And a custom roof. I don't know why, I just fancied doing this custom roof with these plank pieces. So it took me a while, and you know, it's a bit fiddly. Certainly in the corners here, they didn't fit. There wasn't one small enough, so I had to use a different piece of wood in the corners. But I liked this colour, this pale colour, and I just wanted to do something a bit different. So that's what I've done there. Obviously I've put some enrichment up here, but generally these are just bed areas, and as you can see, the chimps love climbing up and down these. So these will come out really well. I really like this. This is exactly what you see in zoos, with this sort of random configuration of logs and things for the chimps to climb up. So there's 3 of these in here. There's one there, and one there. Oh no, sorry, there's 4 in fact. There's one over here. So they're all at slightly different heights. Obviously they are the same thing. I've just duplicated it around, and obviously just sunk a couple of them into the ground. I'm really proud of this bit actually. I've made this sort of swing rope bed thing. So this is just lots of individual pieces of rope all duplicated together to make this shape. And then I've just put a couple of extra posts in here, made it look like a what is it? Hammock, not a hummock, a hammock kind of thing. I managed to put some bedding on. It's as good as you can get the bedding, because the bedding is flat and obviously this isn't. So there's 3 bits of bedding, sort of a high one there and then 2 slightly lower down, so it doesn't look too bad. Certainly not if you look at it from up here. And they do use that. They can obviously climb on these ropes. They can even climb up these pillars here. I haven't seen them sleeping on it yet, unfortunately. I don't know if they ever will, but it looks nice. So yeah, I really like how that's turned out. Again, this is something that you see in the zoos in England here. They often have these rope sort of play areas for chimps and other monkeys as well. So yeah, I really like that. I think that looks rather good. So that's sort of where I'm up to now. Really happy with how this is coming along. This pathway looks much better now. Now that you've got the different sort of wood and these much better fences, it looks a lot more sturdy and realistic, like you would actually have this in a zoo. I'm sort of basing this on there's a set of gardens in London called Kew Gardens. They're sort of our most famous gardens in England, I think. They are amazing, quite frankly. It's one of these places you can go to and you won't see it all in a day. There's so much there. It's a huge area. You will be knackered by the end of the day because there's so much walking involved. But they've got everything there. They've got these massive glass houses that I think they're some of the biggest in the world. So there's tropical areas, there's desert areas, and they have one of these treetop walks. Because one thing they have in London these days are green parakeets. They're green ringneck parakeets, and there are hundreds, thousands of them now living in different flocks all around London, and they're spreading as well. And they are, obviously they're not native to England, but nobody quite knows how they got introduced to the country, but they're thriving, and they fly around bits of London. Absolutely spectacular sight. And I mean, some people consider them a pest because they can be a little bit destructive sometimes, and with crops and vegetables and things. But generally, they're really not a problem, and they are absolutely stunningly beautiful birds. And they have some living in Kew Gardens, completely random. They haven't put them there on purpose. They've just moved in. And so what they've done, they've built a large walkway like this, where you can either come upstairs or you can go up in a lift. And then there's sort of a big, I think it's a triangular shaped walkway here, right up in the treetops. And the treetops is where obviously these parakeets rest. And I went to Kew Gardens a couple of years ago and climbed up the stairs and went walking around this thing. Unfortunately, the parakeets weren't there at the time. They'd obviously flown off somewhere for the day. But it was exactly like this. There was no more safety barriers or anything like that. It was just a walkway in the sky. If you wanted to jump off the side and kill yourself, you could. But they obviously assume that people aren't going to do that. And so I've not worried about doing too much health and safety with this. This is pretty realistic. The barriers are sturdy. So I'm happy with how it looks. I haven't done the backstage yet. I have obviously just plonked down the two essential buildings here, the keeper hut and the staff room, but there is a lot more I need to do in this area, so I think that's probably what I'm going to have to do next, because the enclosure itself is pretty much finished now. So let me do some more work here and I will be back. Okay, so I'm making a bit of progress here. It's been pretty tricky, this. So you can see the building is coming along. I've moved the facilities over here. And pretty standard format for these backstage ones, with the big door and the little door. This is the bit that's caused me the most trouble. This is the airlock system. I still can't think of the proper word for that. Isn't that crazy? And it's taken me a lot of playing around to get this to work, because of course these are part of the barriers, so they can't be too close to the paths. So originally this pathway here was a lot wider and it came right over here, but then I couldn't fit this in, and I needed this to be a decent width here, because potentially if you wanted to drive a car right in here, you need to be able to get it inside, stop, close this door and then open this door. So you need a decent area inside here, and obviously I wanted to have a pathway coming in here, but because this is a barrier and this is a path, you can't combine the two. You can't have one going over the other. The only ones that can do that obviously are the null fencing, which these aren't. So this is what I've had to do. Obviously this isn't finished yet. I need to play around with this concrete on the floor here, the stonework, and obviously it's reshaped the pathway as well. So this is a lot thinner now than I wanted. It's okay, I don't mind it. I think there's still enough room here for things to get in and turn around. We'll see. I may make a few changes, I'm not sure. Obviously you've still got access here with the basic door to the actual habitat, and then over this side, this is my my extra little area. So this is sort of a quarantine area here. The problem with the barrier system, and it's kind of annoying that they've done this, per habitat, so this is a habitat here, you can only have one entrance door, which is obviously this one here. I really wish it would allow you to put more entrances on. I don't really know why they haven't allowed it, because you would have multiple entrances into a habitat. A habitat this large, you would have an access here, but you'd also have one over the other side somewhere probably. And you do see that in zoos and wildlife parks. So I don't know, I'm guessing it's a programming thing, but I really don't know why they can't allow you to have more than one. So I've had to put a fake door here, just using two of these ones back to back. It's not great, but it's the best you can do, unfortunately. So that's there, but then this bit here, because this is sort of a separate habitat, even though it's connected here and here, so this is just an addition here, and then you have this bit coming out here, And because you can sort of count this as a separate habitat, you can actually put a proper door here. So that's what I've done. Obviously I've put the large door there and then opposite there to suggest that you could come in here and drive all the way through. Obviously you can't, but that's the implication there. And then this will be kitted out ready for something to live in here. So there'll be some climbing frames, some food and water in there, a bit of foliage probably. I'm not too sure what's going to happen with this pathway yet, but that has gone in. Let me go around the front because I've done a sign as well around the front here. So as you come along here, Treetop Walk. So some pretty basic sign, simple wood and some lettering, some lights, done so that you can see it from both angles and obviously walk underneath it. So I'm quite happy with that. It's pretty simple and straightforward. And then I put some information signs and some shrubs, copying the idea of what I've done along this side, sort of random shrubs, nothing too thick, plenty of areas where you can look through the shrubbery. And that continues here. So I've put this walkway in around the outside, connected it like that, and put a nice tree in the middle here. A few nettles growing around the bottom, just a little bit of weeds, maybe needs some clearing there, but it hasn't been done. A little touch of realism there, and continue the street lights, of course. So this pathway just loops all the way around the outside here, so that you've got plenty of viewing area. If you didn't want to go up here, if you didn't want to climb up there, if you're afraid of heights or whatever, and you just want to look at them from the ground, there's plenty of space around the outside here where you could see the chimps in there. And then here, it'll probably turn and continue out this way somewhere, but I'm not too sure yet. I don't really want this viewable from the public necessarily, so there may be some sort of barrier in here, maybe a natural one, maybe some bamboo or something in here just to screen this off from the pathway, but I'm not too sure yet. So still a bit more work to do, probably just one more update, and hopefully I can get all of this finished. So let me go away and get that done. Right then, here we go. I have finished. Took me a while, but we got there in the end. So let me walk into the backstage area and show you what it's like now. As you can see, there's a lot more trees out here, a bit of foliage. So the building, I've given it this red roof. I wanted something a bit different, and I quite liked the contrast of the red against this pale wall. So that looks kind of nice. A little bit of backstage detailing, some pallets over here, and a van. Obviously someone's just driven in there. Just move the concrete around a little bit here just so it was even, and got some basic little bushes down the side just to blend it all together. A couple of trees, but that airlock is now there and done, and I think that looks pretty realistic, pretty good. I like the look of that. The building itself, obviously I just put some higher up windows as well, and then I've got this extra pathway that comes off the side here and comes around the side. I've got another door in here. Don't think that's... Oh yes, that is actually connected inside, but it probably won't really be used because the keepers will have no reason to come out this way. But it looks good. Again, a big building like this probably would have multiple doors to get in and out for health and safety reasons, if nothing else. I've given it a bit of a shape. I wanted something not too tall, certainly nothing as tall as around here, but I wanted it to have a good bit of volume, so that's what I've gone with. Something a bit different, and again just put these windows up the top here to suggest that there is a second floor as well as some lower down ones. And then this is just a simple little habitat here. It's not usable. I suppose technically it is usable because it is a proper habitat, but obviously there's nothing in there at the moment. But I've just put a little climbing frame and some foliage, food bowls, and some water in the corner here. So this would just be a small sort of quarantine area. It really wouldn't be a long-term habitat for anything, but it would just be enough. Because there isn't any real shelter in here other than this. In fact, there isn't in the main habitat either. But this is quite a good shelter. Oh, look, we got a little baby. Oh, he's so adorable. Oh, I do love the look of them. And they love these things. I mean, look, they go right up on the roof. and the little babies can climb up and down as well, which is nice to see, although they climb like idiots because the graphics go a bit crazy. But you know, on the whole, you can't complain really, can you? It's remarkable really how good the programming is. Oh look, here's one that's going to use my rope thing. Hopefully, is he going to sit on it? No, he's just passing through, but at least he's climbing. They can actually climb the trees as well. These trees are climbable, but I've not seen any of them use them yet, so I don't know whether the chimpanzees aren't able to use these trees. I don't know, but at least they do lots of climbing on my custom frameworks, so that's fine. I'm happy with that. I haven't decided what to do with this pathway yet because I don't know what's going to be over here, but it will probably curve around here and move out into the zoo. Eventually it will come back and link up with the main path over here, I would have thought. But yeah, that's the Treetop Walk enclosure. I'm so happy with how this turned out. I thought it could have been awful, but actually I think it looks really good. I think it looks realistic. It's a bit over the top, but in a zoo, obviously I think I've said before, the idea is this zoo is essentially just had a massive influx of, you know, tens or hundreds of millions of pounds to really revitalise it and build lots of new structures and things. So that's the idea, and so a structure like this is realistic, it's doable, it would be expensive, but they've got the money, so I'm going with it. And if you don't like it, tough. I'm really pleased with the look of this enclosure, and I'll probably do like I said, I think I'm going to do some water, maybe a lake in here. This is quite a nice little cove area here, so there may be a lake here with sort of some rivers coming off of it. I don't know if I'll do that as an episode or if that will just happen off camera. I'm not too sure what I'm doing next, to be honest. But looking aerially here, you can see it all coming together rather nicely now, actually. I think that fits nicely in that bit. And I'm pleased so far with all my buildings as well. This is something that I wanted to do a lot more of in this series, was all the backstage stuff. So yeah, I'm really happy with this Treetop Walk. So there we go. That's going to be it for today. I hope you had fun. Please let me know what you think of the enclosure, and you can be honest. I won't cry, or I might do, but I won't let you know. But please do leave any comments if you have anything to say. Thank you so much for tuning. I really appreciate it. I am really enjoying playing this game and sharing my thoughts and my creations with you. And long may it last. So thank you, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. So goodbye for now.